So it's been just about 1 month that I've been investing using Robinhood, doing the Robinhood challenge, and I want to cover what I've done so far. But first, for those of you who don't know what the Robinhood challenge is, I started about a month ago after I invested $1,000. Each week I've been investing an additional $100, and I'm going to continue doing this for the foreseeable future. Now, also for those of you who aren't familiar with Robinhood, that's the app I've been using to invest all of my money so far. And if you haven't signed up for an account, you can sign up for one for free. And if you use my referral code, which is share.robinhood.com/DaltonL1, then you'll be able to get a free stock, and I'll be able to get a free stock as well. And it's really interesting. You can get stocks such as Apple, Ford, Facebook, Berkshire Hathaway. There's a lot of different opportunities here for you to get stocks, and you might as well do it just because it's free. So if you guys have been following along with the series, I want to cover my moves for this week. So far, I sold out of Ford. I did earlier because they were downgraded to a junk in terms of their debt from Moody's. So it was a pretty good time for me to get out. I wasn't seeing much growth from them, and I pretty much went even on that investment altogether. So I took $50 out of that, had my additional $100, and I bought my first share of Microsoft today. If you guys know my investment style, I invest more for the long term. I've been invested in Microsoft in years in the past and just have sold it off, but I want to show you their 1 year and 5 year trend. So if I pull that up here, you can see that they have absolutely been killing it in the past year, and same with 5 years. There's nothing but growth that's been happening. So that's really great, a great sign when I'm first investing into a stock. You can see that I bought one share at $135.59, so I'm already up 40 cents on this, but that's not necessarily the return I'm looking for all the time. I also take into account the dividend yield, and this entire portfolio is constructed of different dividend paying stocks or bonds. So I basically structure my portfolio in the way that's safest in my own opinion. Obviously, you are going to want to do your own research if you're thinking about investing in these stocks. Don't just blindly follow what I'm doing, but this seems to be the best method for me. And what I'm looking for is long-term growth and a sustainable portfolio that's able to generate me some passive income. Now, most people are already familiar with Microsoft. They're huge players in the technology and software realms. I use their services all the time, and I'm a firm believer in them. I want to start investing more in stocks that I use in my day-to-day life, stocks such as Nike and a couple others that I have on the top of my mind. So I think you'll start to see some of that trending in my portfolio moving forward. Now, the other company that I put the rest of the investments that I had into, not that it was much, I think I had $20 left over, I put it into SiriusXM. And if you watched my last Robinhood challenge update, you knew that if I had just a little bit of money excess after investing, this is what I plan on throwing that into. I've been watching SiriusXM over the past few years, and it seems like they have had some steady growth, and they're a cheap stock. I actually was able to go up about 1.23% today, so alone that is a great return. And obviously they're a dividend paying stock, but they're not the highest dividend. You're going to see a lot better from other companies, but still I think in terms of growth, this is a solid option because there's not a lot of competition that they have aside from just regular car radios, but a lot of people are moving towards subscription services to the SiriusXM radio. So now I thought it would be cool to kind of just go over the portfolio, see how the performance has been doing. And we've been doing this challenge 3 days under a month, so just about a month. So if you look at the day trend here, it started off like it was going to be terrible, but then we actually recovered and only lost 0.02% of the overall portfolio value. So not too bad on the day. The past week, we are up 1.15% or $16. And the past month, we're up about 3.5%, 3.56 to be exact. Now I want you guys to gently tap on that like button for that green return we've had so far, which is about $50. Now that's a great short-term return, but just keep in mind that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. What I'm actually looking for, if I scroll over here into my histories, you can see these dividends, and I started to get some payments. Here's realty income with $1.13 that's going to be paid on the 13th. And if you look down here into the past 30 days, you can see Johnson & Johnson with a dividend payment as well. So I expect to see a lot more of these kind of dividend payments moving forward. And all those companies that I do get dividend payments from, I'm going to be reinvesting them back into this portfolio and hopefully building that snowball that everybody talks about and just basically getting more and more dividend payments to grow the portfolio. So now I'm going to just give a breakdown of each of my stocks. I invested in Realty Income. This one was a killer for me. It was doing super well. It was going up a ton in value. Today it ended up dropping 2%, but that's not too bad. You can see I have 5 shares at an average cost of $72.20, and my total return is $7.50. This was one that I just got one of those dividend payments on. And what's really cool about this company is that they pay a dividend payment each month. So it's a recurring income stream that I'm going to be getting. That's awesome. Now, another one, everybody's familiar with Coca-Cola, super solid company. I have 3 shares at an average cost of $53.75. We're up 1.21% or around $2 on that. They have a dividend yield of 3.29%. You can expect to see some dividends coming in from this as well. They're 11% of my portfolio, so they're rather large in the holding atmosphere of it, but I actually plan on getting more Coca-Cola in the future because I think they're just a really great stock. Next is Johnson & Johnson. I invested in Johnson & Johnson at a time where they were having some turmoil with some lawsuits going on, but everything is finally settling with that. You can see I have 1 share with an average cost of $131.67. So I'm down on this overall, but the dividend yield is 2.78%, and honestly, I would definitely be throwing more money into Johnson & Johnson as well if I was doing larger installments into this portfolio. It's just harder to accumulate more than $100 because that's all I'm adding weekly. The next stock here is Citigroup. Citigroup has been pretty solid for me as well. The total return is $13 on that. 10% growth since I was invested in them. So that's just great. You don't really see that a lot in a month. The dividend yield here is 2.96%. So that's awesome. Let's see what we have next. We have AT&T, another great stock. They just took a huge jump because a large company took a $3 billion stake, saying that their price was very undervalued. So their stock actually shot up this week. Let's see. See this jump right here is where it happened. So it went up about 5.6% this week after that happened, which was just great. Average cost is $34.75. I've made $13.88 on this at an 8% increase. And the dividend yield for AT&T is, I think, the highest in my portfolio at 7.04%. And I love AT&T. They're actually my favorite stock that I am invested in this portfolio. Next is Microsoft. I already covered that today, so I won't go too far into depth. 1.37% dividend yield. Not the best, but a really solid growth company in my opinion. They're still going to continue to get that value. So the next company I'm in on is A.O. Smith. What this company does is they manufacture hot water pumps as well as water purifiers. I identified this stock actually after reading The Intelligent Investor and doing some research into some companies that I felt were undervalued. This was one of them. And so I got 2 shares at an average cost of $46.04, 8% return off that in the short term. Really great stuff with a dividend yield of 1.78. So I expect this price to continue going up in the future because I do believe that they are somewhat undervalued. Backing out of A.O. Smith, I'm going to go into HPQ. This is one that I've been dollar cost averaging my way into, and it's at $19 right now. It had dipped well below what I had initially invested in, but I kept investing and it was basically driving the cost down. And today it finally started to have another turn for the better. This stock has been gaining over the past couple days. I'm now up 2.45%. I have 5 shares and they are at an average cost of $18.54. So hopefully this green trend continues into the future. After HPQ, this was the first bond sort of investment that I decided to make. This was just to help stabilize my portfolio a little bit. This is the Vanguard Total Bond Market ETF. So I have one share at an average cost of $84.86. So another one that I'm not making any money on at the moment. And the dividend yield for this is 2.69%. So expect to see some returns from this coming forward in the future. And that, like I said, was to balance the portfolio out a little bit more. In terms of when the stock market starts to go down, we typically see that bonds are more stable. So that's why I decided to do that. And then Sirius, another company that I talked about earlier. Basically, when I have any money left over, I tend to put it into Sirius XM. And as of right now, that's pretty much the entire portfolio. So I'm just going to go through my equity. Actually, no, I'll go through my total return for them, just so you can see at a quick glance here. And one thing to note is this portfolio value should actually be $10 more. I got charged twice for Robinhood Gold, which made the portfolio look like it took more of a hit than it actually did. But basically, I'm having a lot of fun doing this series. It's a great way for me to keep track of my investments, and I love hearing feedback from you guys. So let me know what you think of this portfolio. It's right now valued at $1,430.33, and I'm excited to continue this series into the future. Let me know if you guys are invested in some of the same things here, or what investments you are investing in. I'm always looking for my next opportunities to get in on some of these investments. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for checking out the video.